right, guys. Hope you guys had fun in the last session. Welcome to the Ideation workshop. My name's Ayesha. I'll be your FASI for this bit. Before we start, next slide. Before we start, I'd like to do a quick acknowledgement of country. As we gather for this meeting, physically dispersed and virtually constructed, let us take a moment to reflect the meaning of place, and in doing so, recognize the various traditional lands on which we do our business today. We acknowledge the elders, past, present, and emerging of all the land we work and live on, and their ancestral spirits with gratitude and respect. Next slide. All right. Going into the objectives of the workshop today, there's two key objectives. First is an introduction of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and second is to introduce effective altruism and how to evaluate your project. All right, next slide. All right, so my name is Ayesha, and I represent AIESEC and RMIT. What is AIESEC is it's an international youth-run, non-governmental and not-for-profit organization that provides young people with leadership development experiences. Oh, that's weird. Next slide. Yeah, rather than me talking at you, I thought a quick video might be easier for you guys to understand.
Every generation gets the chance to shape the world. But the challenges faced today are becoming more complex with the pace of economic, social, and technological change. The world is defined by the people who live in it. So we believe the solution is to develop responsible, entrepreneurial, and skilled young leaders today who will make a positive impact for our future. Since 1948, we've been providing young people with practical leadership experiences across the world, where they have the freedom to fail and the chance to overcome challenges they face. A space where they can discover what really matters to them and realize their potential for the future. We give young people a chance to see the world, because if you can see it, then you can start to understand it. And if you understand it, then you can start to change it. For over 70 years, we've provided more than 1 million young people with life-changing opportunities together with like-minded organizations. But we can't stop now. Because only when we create more of these leadership stories together will we truly see a remarkable impact on the world. History has shown us what just one great leader can do. So imagine what a billion great leaders could do. This is why we do what we do for youth.
All right, hope that gave a bit more clarity. Before we proceed any further, I would like to thank HackVision on behalf of AIESEC and RMIT, and by extension AIESEC Australia, for giving us the opportunity to be here today and help you guys create your ideation for your project, which is related to or aiming to solving one of the big issues that the world is facing. Because while we personally may not be able to prevent war, we do believe that by developing, we can develop leaders of tomorrow that may. Now, why do I say this? I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but for the first time in history, in a long, long time, the world's young people were defined as a primary stakeholder to help governments and other organizations make such a large-scale impact. And that impact comes through the form of SDGs. Next slide. So, I'd like an open question to everyone. Feel free to unmute your mic and speak. Has anyone here heard of what SDGs are, or might be able to tell us what they mean? Feel free to pop off in the chat. All right, you know what?
No, this is probably the first time I've heard about them.
Ooh, really? Okay. So that's okay. We all start somewhere. So SDGs stands for Sustainable Development Goals, or they're also known as Global Goals, or sometimes known as Agenda 2030. Next slide. So let's break it down a bit further. So what is sustainable? It says Sustainable Development Goals, right? So let's break down sustainable development. What is considered sustainable development? Sustainable development refers to any type of development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. And the United Nations had identified that for sustainable development to be achieved, it is crucial to harmonize three core elements: so economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection. Next slide. And that is where SDGs come in. So in September 2015, 193 world leaders agreed upon these 17 global goals for sustainable development of the world. Basically, what it means is that if these goals are completed, it would mean an end to extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change by 2030. And the thing I really love about this is the uniqueness of each goal is that anyone can find a goal to support and advocate for, because each of them touch on every aspect of an individual's life. Cool. Next slide. Now, rather than talking at you, I thought a quick video might be easier to understand an overview. And afterwards, I'll be providing resources as well, so you guys can go a bit more in depth into it.
Did you know that the UN Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action that unites 193 countries around the world? If these global goals are fulfilled by 2030, life on Earth will be better for everyone. So, what are these goals? Eliminate poverty in all its forms. No hunger. Everyone should have safe, nutritious, and sufficient food. Everyone has equal access to healthcare, thus ensuring our well-being and a healthy life. Equal access to a quality education. Ensure gender equality where women and girls have the same opportunities as men and boys. By achieving these goals, each member of our society will be equal, safe, and happy. UN global goals also include access to safe drinking water and sanitation, access to clean energy that is safe for people and the environment, sustainable and stable economic growth. Everyone has a decent job, strong infrastructure, and the support of innovations. Lower inequality within and among countries. Cities and settlements be developed without damaging the environment and people. Achieving these goals will result in the well-being of people and our planet. We can further take care of our environment with the following goals: sustainable and safe production and consumption of products. Take urgent measures to reduce climate change and its impact. Ensure the sustainable use and protection of ocean and sea resources. Restore and protect Earth's ecosystems. By achieving these goals, we will form a society where strong institutions ensure peace and justice. It is important for everyone to be involved and to build partnerships for achieving sustainable development goals. You are part of this process. Demand the implementation of these goals. Take the lead and share information with your friends.
Next slide. Now, I've been in my fair share of competitions. I'm well aware at this point some of you might be going, "Oh, but I'm here for a competition. Why do I need to care about SDGs? Why should I implement this in my project?" So, let me appeal to the logical side of you then. Next slide. Fun fact is that some of the most successful startups right now are centered around advancing the SDGs. Core reasons being, first of all, it gives you better brand positioning when you can establish yourself as going after like a just cause. Second is it opens chances for multi-stakeholder collaboration, so with governments or with companies under corporate social responsibility, and as well as like when you're going in for investors and stuff. It's very it's good to have like a clear mission that you can, like tie back into and say like, hey, this is what makes me unique from anybody else who might be in the running. Last but not least is it gives you like really good marketing opportunity, as well as like an opportunity to increase revenue through grants or through any grants that you might receive to like further your work. All right, next up. Now I know I realized I've talked at you for quite a bit, So what I want you guys to do is if you can open your Discord, hop into your teams, and then just talk about like, hey, what SDGs you guys might be passionate about, and anything that you might be interested in bringing into your project. And hopefully, you don't have to do it right now, but it'll get you started on the idea of thinking, hey, what would you like to build your project around, and how would you like to start the action? Please mute yourself on the Google Meet, but do not leave the call. Once 10 minutes is up, I will call you guys back. All right, good luck.
Just to show off some UN SDG target cards. These are the cards that I made. So you have, there's like 17.
I thought you made the board game related to UN sustainable goals.
I kind of made a game out of them, yes.
Oh,
Whoa.
nice.
What kind of board game?
No, it's not really a board game. It's like how to make your friends feel like they're useless type of game. What you do is that you go. Yes, what you do is that you go, here's this massive deck of UN SDGs, and you pick one off at random, and you go, what type of stuff could you do to try and advance progress on this US SDG? And they think like, I have no bloody clue. Mikey.
Sounds like they should be here at HackVision today.
They probably should, yes.
Oh well, we could probably like make a bigger, like multiple decks for next year or something.
These took a while. I cut these manually.
Ah,
I got them done in Officeworks.
awesome. Yeah, it's kind of an eye opener because like when you look at them, like, what am I doing for the future?
Yes, it's
But
certainly
you guys
is.
will be able to actually do stuff for the future in this little hackathon.
You have quite a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of different things here.
AIESEC actually has a virtual game that you can play
Oh,
regarding SDGs. If you guys are interested, I can link that afterwards as well.
that would be cool. We've also got a channel in main hall, which is one is called Show Your Hacking Journey. So you could put in how tired you are, stuff like that. There's also a channel called Snack Overflow as well. So just put in all like your meals if you feel comfortable with it, or what you're going to use your Uber Eats vouchers on. So yeah, enjoy. Also, I would like to see that game.
Wait, do we have a meme channel? Oh yeah, we have.
Oh yeah, I think some of the organizers started a few memes, but feel free to put your own memes.
Yeah.
I particularly like the CSS one. Seems like a formatting issue.
No, it's still Snack Overflow.
Yeah, that was the team name that I was for my last hackathon.
Yeah.
The mentoring window announced early as well.
That's true. Wait. What happened to Hackerford? No. Yeah, it should be 12 p.m. The mentoring starts.
Yeah. So anyone else has got any questions, feel free to throw them out here or put in your Teams chats.
We'll have questions at the end of the session, so.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Just an update, you have 5 more minutes.
For those who joined, we're just thinking through some ideas based on the SDGs, which is like the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. So yeah, feel free to chat in your teams for an extra few minutes.
How many minutes left?
Just about 2 more minutes. How are you guys going? Are you done? Just check it in the chat. We can end this early if needed.
Okay, I think that's 10 minutes.
Nice, thank you. All right, everyone, please come back.
I think they might be back.
All right, cool. It's a bit disorienting. I can't see where everyone is. All good. All right. I think.
Yes, pass it on to me.
Yes. All right.
Okie dokie. So now that you've got some ideas, so I'm sure you've been thinking up some fantastic ideas recently, we're going to go over to the next stage, which is evaluating these ideas. So I'll be talking about what the judging criteria is based on and what you might need to keep in mind to make sure that your pitch hits all of the boxes that the judges are looking at. So next slide. Anyone?
Jacqueline?
Jack? There we are. Thank you. I'm Sam from the RMIT Programming Club. I've just left the RMIT Programming Club, but I'm sticking around for this one last event. Next slide. Okay, so a lot of the criteria, or at least the business side of this criteria, is based off effective altruism. Effective altruism is all about how to evaluate your particular intervention or idea to determine how much impact it could possibly have on the world. So a lot of these ideas are taken from the website 80,000 Hours if you want to take a look into it. But the main concept is that we use evidence to try and work out which particular interventions and solutions would be the most promising. So there's three main things that we're going to be judging you on. And those three things are scale, neglectedness, and tractability. So we're going to go through all of those three. So next slide. So the first area is scale. So this is to ask if you're attempting to solve some problem, if you were to solve this problem completely, just how much well-being will this create? So we can get, if you want to, you can score your idea on these three dimensions, and you can add them up to determine how good you believe your idea might be. For instance, I say that if your idea is implemented, or if your idea, if this problem is solved, then it might, if you get a 16, if it eliminated the risk of both nuclear wars and pandemics, which would be quite impressive if you could manage to do that in HackVision, and I would definitely call my funders. But anyway, it goes further down. For instance, eliminating extreme poverty would be 14. You can go further down with identifying risky asteroids, or a minor thing like saving 3 lives, which is pretty big. But effective altruism usually has pretty high standards. So next off is neglectedness. So next slide. So the question of neglectedness is how many other people are working on this problem? And this is based off the idea of diminishing marginal returns, in that if you're the only person working on a problem, then you're more likely to make much more traction on the problem than if hundreds or millions of people are working on this particular problem. So you can judge the neglectedness of your problem by trying to estimate just how many full-time staff might be working on it. So 12 means that there is 1 or less people working on it. There is no one yet working on this particular problem. 10 means that there's 10 or less full-time staff, and then it goes on to, let's say, 0, where there's pretty much like almost everyone on the planet is working on this type of problem. And then you probably wouldn't get any scores for neglectedness. And this is important just so that we can make sure that we can find the courses that allow us to have a larger marginal impact. So next slide, we're going to be talking about tractability. Oh, yeah. So tractability is how easy is it for you to make progress on this problem? So tractability is marked, say, if you doubled the effort on this problem, 8 would be you 100% solve this problem. It's 100% done. 6 would be solve 10%, 4 would solve 1%, going down like this. So this is like, is the problem particularly easy to solve? And this is a very important thing, because you don't want to do something that's too untractable, but you can score yourself by that again. So after you've looked at those scores, and we'll provide the slides after this talk, hopefully, And you might be able to try your judging by yourself, or I'll provide a link to its original source for your particular cause. But if you're having difficulty with some ideas, I'd like to share with you some promising avenues for which effective altruism looks into, which is on the next slide. Beautiful. So these promising avenues are areas for which the people in effective altruism consider to be very, very high impact areas, which can do a lot of good if you focus your efforts on improving these spaces. So next slide. The first of those spaces is working in the area of global poverty, because often money that is spent overseas by people in need can be much better spent than money that's spent over here. So the general idea is that if we can improve it's a lot cheaper to improve the well-being of people overseas. So these include things like the Against Malaria Foundation, which sell bed nets to prevent people from catching malaria in malaria-prone regions, and the Malaria Consortium, which sells malaria medication, and the Deworm the World and SCI Foundation are both deworming programs which have had high evidence of success in improving well-being in low-income countries. So the next slide. So, and then secondly, if you're not particularly interested in working in the area of global poverty, other very highly promising cause areas include improving AI safety. So ensuring that AI in the future operates for humankind and can cause a lot of well-being. And then the second one is biosecurity, which is improving the way that we respond to pandemics, which has had a large impact on us, particularly during COVID-19. But yes, we were thinking about this type of thing before. And then animal charity evaluators, which is if you're interested in improving the lives and well-being of animals, particularly in factory farms. So that's it. But next slide, I think we've got ask if there's anyone who has any questions. Do you have any questions? If not, we can always, well, I'm always around. You can, I wrote the judging criteria. So if you want to know what exactly you're being marked for and explain certain concepts.
I just had a quick question.
Yes.
So regarding these kind of focus areas and I guess the neglectedness, say, for example, climate change is a very widely tackled issue. And I understand that would generally score low on neglectedness. What if it is a kind of an aspect of climate change which isn't being addressed? If we're transforming the way that a widget that outputs a lot of CO2 now doesn't, sort of thing. It's an area of is a neglected area of a non-neglected problem.
Yeah, so absolutely. And if you're going to do that, you're going to obviously have to think about, okay, then what's the scale of my particular area of my problem? But the main thing that I'd be looking for in the neglectedness, and I've encouraged the judges to look for, is have you done any research looking into the similar type of projects that exist in your space? So if you have, and you can identify that you're unique in this area, then that would be valuable. And if you haven't, you might not get full marks for neglectedness, or what I call innovation in the judging criteria. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Any other questions? No. If that's the case, we can probably move on. I'll always be available, and so will Ayesha. Next slide, please. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. It was fantastic to have you here. If you have any questions, you can always ask me or any of the other organizers in the Discord channel. And well, good luck with the hack. If you want, yes, this is our details. My username on GitHub and Discord is usually Hazelfire, and you should be able to find me around. And Ayesha?
Best way to reach me is on LinkedIn, but otherwise I'll be popping around on the Discord channel as well. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Beautiful. Good luck.
All right, thank you so much.